Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to the Dear Love Podcast. You can catch us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Listen Notes, Google Music, Podbean, all that good stuff. You already know how this go. Let's get right into it. I was one of those kids growing up feeling like I was grown already, like you couldn't tell me nothing. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I felt like I can do it whenever I wanted to. I mean, who's going to tell me what to do, right? I mean, I wake up myself, I take myself to the bathroom. I feed myself. When you growing up, you feel like you do a lot of things by yourself that you really don't do by yourself. So you be like, man, I don't need you. I could put my own clothes on. And then, your parents hit you with the trump card, like, well, who bought the clothes? And you just kind of look like, so that's your job. And we always get away with saying that's their job, that's their job. Which in reality, I feel like it is their job when we first start off, but we can't use that excuse our whole life, can we? But again, going with that mindset and growing up, even as I started talking to women and different things, I just always felt like I was grown. And a lot of situations humble you, man. I had a few situations with a few ladies. I just never had the courage to take them to my house. It was always like I hope that they had a spot that we can go to and chill because, for one, I stayed with my mom, and it was kind of like, well, how does that look? How does it look you staying with your mom and you trying to, have me come over and kick it with you? And it's like, well, hey, look, my mom stayed with me and, we can go in the basement. Like, how that sound telling somebody that? So again, just feeling like you grown, and not even just talking about living situations, just mentally feeling like you grown before you really are. We think because we get to the ages of 18 to 21, the legal ages of drinking and buying tobacco, that we can do what we want. I'm grown now. You can't tell me what to do. And that's not really the case. Dear Love, episode 51. Having a girl at an early age came with a price. Because again, without your own spot, what can you really do? And I didn't have a car, so it was more so like I was in a lose-lose at all times. I can't pick the girl up, nor do I have a place for her to lay her head, in a sense. So I kind of expected her to have the total package without me having the total package. So I tried to work my hand with different sets of skills that I learned called game, which I never was good at either, trying to spit game and do it. I just always felt like just say what you feel, and they either gonna love it or they not gonna deal with you, So I always had to take that approach, and it was rough. It was rough trying to keep girls happy, in a sense, because again, I'm thinking I'm so grown and I ain't got nothing for real. So then it was always the situation of, not only am I thinking I'm grown and I'm really not. Now, let's say I do go over her house, or even if she doesn't stay by herself, let's say she stays with her people and they're not there at the time and she got the house to herself and we can all kick it. That's fine. There's that old saying, oh, you better be home before the street lights come on. Now, everybody know the street lights come on around 6 and 7 o'clock, especially if it's that daylight saving time stuff. So it's like, come on, be home by the street lights. So I used to call myself trying to be slick. Oh, man, them street lights don't mean nothing. And just trying to, like, be a part of the in crowd and always be messed up in the end. But I was okay with that. As long as I can look good in front of this female, I didn't mind, like, the backlash. And that's crazy. You shouldn't even have to do that. You should just be honest from the jump, let them know what's going on, and again, give them a chance to accept the situation. It always seems weird, like women could be more honest than us. You get women who will tell you, hey, look, I'm gonna let you know right now, I got 5 baby daddies and 7 kids. And it's like, we still don't mind dealing with them. We like, oh, that's cool. But when it come to us being honest and us being real, It's just something about it. We can't do it. I guess the pride kicks in and we just feel like maybe they gonna think less of us, or they ain't gonna wanna, I don't know, they ain't gonna wanna deal with us. I don't really know, but that's a thing I always see. Like, the women tend to be more honest. And women claim, and notice I said claim, that they mature quicker than us. And that might be true, but I'm not going for it, man, because I see a lot of a lot of women who just, you can tell they weren't, I don't know. We're not even gonna get into that. But yeah. Then there's the whole thing of taking a girl out. Again, you get caught up thinking that you're grown and you're not, and then punishment comes along. And man, don't we hate punishments. Now, what type of punishments did you have as a kid? Because the type of punishments that I had was, I guess you could say, borderline easy, because my dad didn't believe in like whoopings or nothing like that. My mom did, but rarely. So I was kind of like in between those two. So it wasn't so bad. And it just depended on the situation. So I'm like a super game head. So what they would do is just take my game away. And now I can't play the game for X amount of days. Or if they, if they see I'm on the telephone, they're like, hey, let's just take the phone from them. And that's a big thing. We just got to take the things that kids love, or that we loved. Because that's how it was for me. If you tell me I can't go outside, I'm going to be upset. But at the same time, I'm going to be like, okay, can't go outside. So what? Like, I wasn't a big outside kid unless it was playing sports. Because I mostly stayed in the house and played every game known to man, whether it was Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Sega Saturn. I was into those things. So again, you telling me I can't go outside? Yeah, that ain't really moving the needle, Mom. That's fine. I'll just sit in the house and play the game all day. Now, I think at the age of like, I want to say 13, 14 is when I got heavy into the phones. So now when she started taking the phones away, that's when she hit a nerve, or taking the game, leaving the game system there and just taking like the plugs. Like, mentally that messed with me. It's like, I can't even play the game now. So that was ways to like get at me as far as punishment. But yeah, that outside stuff, that didn't really go down like that. I didn't really care. I mean, I always looked at outside like, go outside, get dirty, or either go outside, go to somebody else's house and play the game there. So again, I wasn't a big fan of outside. But I do commend the people who actually have their stuff together at an early age and they rolling. Because don't get me wrong, you can be grown mentally at 16 if your business is right, or if you're doing the right things, or taking care of business. At that time we just call it mature. But I think you can be grown at those certain ages. I know I wasn't. With certain things I was, but overall, no, I had a lot to learn. But you got some kids who, get their license at 16. They're working. They have a couple bills that they pay. Granted, they're not grown, because, they're not grown, but they are mature. So, that's the term we like to use when they are underage. They're mature. Well, at least that's how I see it. So I do commend the people who actually sit back and handle all of their business and do the right things. Because it was people that was going on dates with females and different things at that age, at the same age that I was. And they were taking them out, and they were going to the movies and, out to eat, to, swings and things. I mean, all type of stuff. And I just sat back and watched. Like, it is possible. Even going back to maturity levels as far as kids, learning the piano at a young age, or on social media, you can see these little kids like weightlifting and doing things like that. Like, you can do these things at an early age. It's never too early to start. That's also why I played sports at a young age. Well, not for women, but I'm saying, by it never being too early to start, it kind of shows in the sports also, just the mature level, because a lot of kids, you can tell who was, I hate to say it like this, but raised right by how they play the sports and what sports, that we were actually playing. But the fact that we out there playing a sport is also a good thing too, to just keep you busy and keep you out of trouble. So I took sports very serious. Some of them went out there, acted a fool, got bad grades, and now they're off the team and things like that. But just me going back to, again, not being at that mature level to impress a girl or not having a car and all of those things. Another thing that came along with it is they did like the sports players, specifically football and basketball. Honestly, again, that's not why I played sports, but I can't say that didn't help. Especially if the team is winning. Now, if you in school and your team is winning and y'all going to the state championship and you in the best division and all of that, it kind of helps that you the star of the team. I wasn't the star, but it kind of helps that you on a team. Even if you got a star on a team, just to get to them, they would love to mess with you. And that, again, we talking about mature levels. So it's not always even in a man's best interest to try to just impress a female, because you never know what comes along with that either. You impress the wrong female, you might be kind of stuck. So again, sports was a big thing as far as keeping that mature level high, or acting as if you were grown. Because remember, we watch these athletes on TV every day, and we see them, catching the football, they getting the tackles, and causing fumbles. So it's like you want to do the same thing, and you feel even at that scale of just being in middle school or high school or playing for the the community leagues, you start doing things like that, it kind of brings notoriety to you, and that's how you feel. So it's like, man, I'm getting older, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but at the end of the day, you still got to go home. You still got homework to do. You can't just like do the football and now your school is falling off, because then you get kicked off the team. So sports is another way, again, to show your mature level and to show if you are actually, quote unquote, grown or not. So I focused on sports. Of course, it brought ladies around and stuff like that. But again, if I'm not ready mentally, then I'm still losing the battle. So it was times that we had football games and stuff. We do our thing, we winning. But again, if I don't know what to say to that young lady, if I don't know how to approach her, then I lose anyway. So again, me just trying to be something I'm not. Yeah, I'm playing football, but I feel like I'm the best in the world and all that. No, I'm not. So again, you just got to humble yourself. Always be yourself, period. And I think you could easily get the fish, as they say. Get the fish. That was so rude. Dear Love, T. Shaw, I'm out of here.